Good afternoon, everyone. It's the end of the week, so as per usual, in a little bit, you're going to have a quiz. And before we do that, we're just going to do a little bit of review of what we talked about this week, which isn't much. We pretty much just focus on this idea of elimination, right, for a couple of days, and did some word problems. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple brief few things up here. Then I'm going to ask you to go to the whiteboards like we normally do a couple of little examples up there that you can leave up there during the quiz. And then you'll have time to write the quiz. Any time left over, if you've got assignments that you haven't finished yet, you should be finishing those up and handing them in so we can be done. Okay, so again, we talked about elimination a lot. So here's kind of the basics of what you need to know, just to go over them one more time. Okay, the first thing is when you have a pair of equations and you're trying to solve by elimination, try and decide if you need to add or subtract. Okay, what's the easiest way to take care of it? So in this case, right, with the one that I have here, okay, first thing is, do any of the numbers match? And say yes. Okay, the numbers with y match. They're both 3. So that's nice. That'll make it easy to eliminate. Okay, and the second thing is, what are their signs? Okay, I have opposite signs. So I'm going to want to add those together, because if I add -3 to +3, I get 0, and that will eliminate y. Okay. If these had been the same sign, both positive or both negative, I would want to subtract the equations. Okay, I'm not going to do the full process here, but if I were to proceed here, right, I just said that I wanted to add. Okay, so let's actually add. Okay, so if I add those together, okay, I'm going to get 2 plus 4 for the x, so that's 6x. Again, I'm adding here. Okay, -3 plus +3 is 0, so the y's go away. And 7 plus 8 is 15. Okay, and then if I want to solve for x, right, we would divide it by 6, see what we get. In this case, we'll do the decimal, and just kind of go from there. Okay, so that's how that process works. Okay, the second question, which I've already revealed here, is do I need to multiply anything? Okay, so again, in the one I just showed you, I technically don't, because I had a pair of numbers that match. But let's say they didn't match, or let's say just I really, really, really want to get rid of x for some reason. I don't want to get rid of y. I want to get rid of x. So currently I have a 2 and a 4, right? What can I do to make them match? Okay, and what we're allowed to do is multiply the equations by something. Okay, so if I want to make them match, right, I can take my first equation and multiply it by 2. So when I do that, I would rewrite them out just so I can see what I'm doing. So my first one, when I double everything, I would now have 4x minus 6y, and 7 times 2 is 14. And the other one I would leave alone. Okay, 4x plus 3y is 8. And again, now I have a matching pair, right? The 4's here are the same, and they are the same sign, so I would want to subtract in this case. Okay, I would have to subtract if I wanted to make that work. So 4 minus 4 is 0. -6 take away 3 is -9. And 14 take away 8 is 6. Okay, and then same thing, we would start dividing things out to solve. Okay, so that's the basic stuff. Right? So first, you need to subtract, and if there's no matching at all, you need to multiply to make them match. Okay, so I'm going to put up the whiteboard examples. So at this time, probably pause the video, and let everyone go to the whiteboards, and give them a chance to copy down example 1. And then once it's copied, right before you start solving, I'll reveal the other part so it's all there ready to go. Okay, so and if you can get some cards out or assign partners, pairs somehow, go to the whiteboards. Here's example 1, right? It's just solve the system. So I have 5x minus y is 4, and 5x plus 2y is 7. Okay, the second example that I want you to do while you're at the whiteboards, okay, is here's 2 situations for word problems, and I just want you to write down what the equations would be. Okay, I don't want you to actually solve them. I just want you to write down what the equations would be. Okay, so the first one is the sum of two numbers is 12 and their difference is 8. Okay, so write two equations to represent that information. And the second example is the apples and oranges that you see there. Okay, so please pause the video here and give about 5-10 minutes to do the whiteboard thing, and I'll do a brief summary to wrap things up. Okay, so you're back now. So hopefully that means you have completed the stuff on the whiteboard, and I can briefly talk about it to make sure that everything is okay here. Okay, and first I just gotta move something. Okay, so for example 1, let's go to the process of solving very quickly here. Okay, so hopefully you notice you have a pair here, right? You've got both 5s and they're the same sign, so we can just go ahead and subtract this pair of equations. So 5 minus 5 is 0, it's gone. Negative y, subtract 2y would be negative 3y, and 4 take away 7 is also negative 3. Okay, my last step is to divide those. So negative 3, y equals 1. Okay, but we're not done yet, right? I figured out y, now I have to go back and figure out what x is. So maybe we take that first equation. Let's write that one down again. It was 5x minus y is equal to 4. Okay, so I knew y is 1, so 5x minus 1 equals 4. Okay, we bring over the 1. 5x equals 4 plus 1. So 5x is 5. If I divide them both by 5, that means x is going to be equal to 1. Okay, I got x is 1. So x was 1, y was 1. Okay, quick review of example 2. Okay, for the sum of two numbers is 12. Okay, so if I called my numbers, right, x and y, those are my two different numbers. The sum is 12. That means when I add those numbers, x plus y, I get 12. And when I subtract those two numbers, right, their difference, that's 8. There's two equations using x and y, and they're nicely set up to eliminate. Apples and oranges. Okay, again, I know I said in the note the other day you could use different letters. I wouldn't recommend using an O for orange, simply because it looks like a 0 and you could mess yourself up. So I'm going to stick with x be the price of apples, y be the price of oranges. Okay, so what does the first statement say? Okay, if I buy 5 apples at that price and 4 oranges at the other price, I get $10. Okay, and the other one says if I have 4 apples, okay, and I've got 5 oranges, then that costs me an extra 25 cents. It's $10.25. Okay, and there's two equations, and they're set up now so that you could do elimination with a little bit of work there. Okay, so that was your brief review. Okay, so now you need to get yourselves nicely separated so you're not right beside somebody as much as possible. And we're going to do the quiz. Okay, and when you finish, if you finish that early, if you got other assignments you need to get done, you should be getting those done and hanging them in. Okay, so we can move on to the next thing. Okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you on Monday.